Yo, we are in London town for the so far biggest event for Ian Balina's Crypto World Tour. There's a line around the block. It looks like a Star Wars premiere. We're super excited.
This is gonna be a great show. I'm really hyped. To the moon!
Without further ado, Ian Balina, crypto legend, London town. Hey! Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so Ian, we got a little treat for you. I actually didn't tell you about this because we're in the biggest event on the Crypto World Tour we've ever done. We want to give you a little bit of a souvenir, something like with the crypto family, some hip hop style.
Okay, all right.
All right. We also got our crypto family in the wings as well. Anybody y'all might recognize Ugo from the vlogs? We got Ugo, come on, bring him down, bring him down. Give a hand for Ugo. We also got Diego, one of our closest homeboys. That's the family right there. Great investor as well. So we wanted to give y'all a little bit of a treat. So anybody knows about Rockefeller Records back in the day, we had the little chaining ceremony and stuff like that for the crypto family. So as a big thank you to you, we've gotten you some Bitcoin chains. Got to get some ice. Very rapper-ish of me, but of course that's the gifts
What's
I
up,
give.
London?
All right, man.
I think this is the moon landing we're talking about.
So we got the chain.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
What kind of chains are those?
All right, so
I don't think they can see that. Do you guys
look
see
at the
that?
drip. Look at the sauce. It's a Bitcoin chain.
That's
right
a
there.
Bitcoin chain.
All right, man.
Guys, all I have to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I mean, wow. I keep on saying this, guys, right? I was just a guy in DC doing live streams on YouTube in my basement, right? Just trying to really just find that way to break away and get financial freedom. And the fact that I've been able to impact so many people around the world to a point where I come here in London, where I don't know anybody here, right, besides family, but I don't know anybody here, right? And just seeing the reaction, the amount of people I've been able to impact to a point where they were showing me the video of the line outside, around the corner, and I'm just blown away by the support, guys. So from the bottom of my heart, crypto family, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so let's start the show. Show of hands, who's been to one of my Crypto World Tour stops before? Oh, wow, okay. Where'd you go to? Oh, I know you, Emmy! Oh, man. Shout out to Emmy. Emmy was in Barcelona. I know where you were. All right. Anybody else? That's it? Wow, somebody got shy. All right. So, what are we going to talk about today? I'll go through and discuss who I am, right? Because I'll make the assumption not everybody here has seen my content or knows about me, right? I'm pretty sure somebody invited their friends to come here for the first time. Show of hands, who's here for the first time? Wow, a lot of people, right? So I'll do a presentation to you guys as well, right? To make sure you guys know my background, my story, and why so many people are here to see me, right? Who's that guy? Everywhere I go, there's always somebody who wants to pitch me an ICO. Show of hands, who wants to pitch me an ICO? So we'll have a few people. I think we have some ICOs here who are early. They'll have the luxury of being able to do 30-second pitches, right? We'll keep it short and brief, right? Guys, pay close attention to the ICO pitches. You may find the next 10x here, the next 100x here, right? What if I told you Nucleus Vision pitched me at a meetup just like this in LA? Abi came to me, he came to the happy hour. I was probably 2 drinks in, right? And he began pitching. And I was there just like trying to wave him off, saying no, whatever. But Abi, his pitch was tight, super tight, to a point where I ended up joining the company as an advisor, right? Fast forward to my Asia World Tour in Korea. Guess who pitched me in Korea? Anybody know? No, not Icon. EdenChain. Who's part of the EdenChain ICO? Or pre-sale, right? all right, so what if I told you EdenChain came and pitched me, and I was like, wow, these guys are building a smart contract blockchain platform, right? And that's how I discovered EdenChain. And now it's one of the hottest ICOs of this month, right? So maybe, I'm pretty confident we'll find the next hot ICO for the 1 or 2 months down the line here in London. Just playing a numbers game, right? So hopefully we find the next Wabi, the next Icon, the next OneChain, the next Loom Network, right? So very excited for that. Then we'll have the standard AMA, because I know everybody wants to ask me questions, right? So this will probably be the bulk of the presentation. Then we are tight on time, but I'll try to make as much time as possible for you guys to take pictures. And as usual, guys, this is a disclaimer. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my personal opinion. None of this is being customized or tailored to anybody in particular. Always do your own research. Always consult a legal and financial advisor before investing in ICOs. ICO investing is risky. You can lose all your money. Only invest what you're willing to lose, right? As you guys know, there are lots of examples out there, right? Confito, and so many scams out there. All right, we covered that. So who is Ian Balina, right? And why am I standing here, right? I'm based in Washington, D.C. I was born in Kampala, Uganda. Anybody here from Africa? Show of hands. Woo, all right. Born in Kampala, Uganda. Moved to America when I was 8 years old. What if I told you, I've actually lived in England before, right? When I was 2 to 4 years old, my dad and my family moved to Loughborough. Anybody here from Loughborough? None, wow, okay. Exactly, right? My dad went to Loughborough Uni for grad school, for his master's, right? So when I was between the ages of 2 and 4 years old, I was in Loughborough. I don't recall anything. All I know is in the family picture album, we have pictures of me playing in snow for the first time, all right? But anyway, so who is Ian Balina? I'm a blockchain and cryptocurrency angel investor. This is my full-time job. I invest in ICOs. I review ICOs. I make content around ICO investing, right? Just sharing my opinion. All this begun is me just making the diary, right? I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, AKA Gary V, and he has this premise called document the process, right? So I was just a guy going through researching ICOs, and I said, you know what? Let me document this process, right? Maybe I'll discover something. Maybe somebody else will find value from this. So I began documenting this via my live streams. But the main thing I want to talk about is, who's heard of the Ian Balina effect? All right? You're probably wondering, those who are brand new, why is this guy so influential, right? Well, we'll get into that as well, right? I do have a large following on social media, from YouTube channel, about 125,000 people, Telegram group, about 29,000 people, Twitter, about 145,000 people, right? And this came from me just kind of being very transparent. When I joined this space, I was still working at IBM. Right? I had a corporate job, a 9-to-5 job, but I really wanted to just break away and kind of be financially free where I could make my own money, right? And cryptocurrency investing really changed that for me, right? To a point now where I'm part of a large angel investor group, and we do this full-time, investing in ICOs, traveling the world to find the next big ICO, whether it's EdenChain, whether it's Nucleus Vision, or what have you, right? We invest up to $10 million in ICOs, right? This is what I do full-time now, right? I was just a regular guy, a corporate job, but crypto changed my life. It made me a crypto millionaire in 1 year. I got hacked for over $2 million, and I'm still a millionaire, right? Thanks to crypto. Thanks to crypto. So I'm really grateful for this just changing my life. I just want to share with the world, right, how this can really bring people financial freedom. Doesn't matter what goals you have, if you just want to go out there, launch a business, launch a charity, pay off your college debt. I met somebody who told me he paid off over 200 grand of his wife's college debt that she had been trying to pay off for like 10 years from just one ICO, Dragon Chain. His wife wasn't really a believer in crypto, right? Once she saw that, she was like, you know what? Keep watching Ian Balina. I've heard somebody tell me, hey, I'm just here in Nairobi, Kenya, and from Nairobi? I'm just here in Nairobi, Kenya, and just from ICO investing, I've now been able to buy the poshest house in the neighborhood, right? From just ICO investing. This has changed my life, all right? Just so many stories. And it's just beautiful. I feel like we're really on the cusp of something new. This is the biggest wealth transfer in human history, right? So I just really just want to share that with the world and show people a new way out, a new way to really break away and pursue your goals and do whatever you want to do in life. And by making free content as well. All right. Any questions on that? When moon? Moon now. All right. Let's see what the next section is. ICL pitches. We have a few ICOs that hopefully, Ugo, can you handle that? The ICOs you spoke with, let's have them come on stage. Okay, all right. We got a timer here, guys. Everybody will have 30 seconds to give us the ICO pitch. All right? And then at the end, guys, whichever ICO you like. Yeah. You guys are ICOs, right? We will make some noise. All right? Go.
The project is called Mail Hustle. My Gmail has 12 years of history since 2006, 100,000 messages, 15 gigabytes of data. Currently, it is Facebook and Google who mine my own data. Let's change the game. This is my data. I benefit from it. I am an entrepreneur, and I'm using my own product to promote my own product, using my email connections to promote ICOs and other projects.
All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, wait. Ready, set, go.
Uncloak. The problem is that data security and cybersecurity and ethical hacking and hacking is the world's largest infrastructure problem. The solution is to have an application that is able to find threats before they actually attack your infrastructure and your environment. The solution that we have at Uncloak is to have a solution that is able to go out into the public internet and dark web and find all the threats that happen on infrastructure. We want to make sure that data security is available for everyone, no matter what size your business is.
All right. All right. Ready, set, go.
Crypto requires mass adoption. You're about to hear the ICO that's going to create it. It's a 100% fintech blockchain bank, license approved last year, 70,000 Ether already spent, product ready to go live. I'm looking at some serious X's here.
Oh. No guarantees.
Project X, still under NDA.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right. Ready, set, go.
Sovereign Exchange is building a British crypto exchange fully regulated by FCA. We have MVP just under production. The team, including myself, come from the banking world. I was used to head up digital banking for Barclays 2 years back, and the exchange is going to include things around customer experience, have 24/7 customer service, including AI and RPA to improve customer service. We'll have full fiat currency and cryptocurrency inclusion, looking after customers in the global channels. Thank you.
All right. Well, time is up. All right, ready, set, go.
I'm Dinsdale Broderick, and I'm with Prosperity Global. We're building a crypto exchange. We trade foreign exchange and commodities at the moment, and we're going to solve several problems, including the volatility and liquidity issues. We've already had quite a few orders of Bitcoin, up to 10,000 at the moment, and we're ready to go. Prosperity Global Exchange.
All right, thank you. All right. You part of this or? No? Huh? Okay, all right. Last person. Ready, set, go.
So with decentralized embedding on sports, we're opening for the World Cup, and you'll be able to bet on which team you think will win, and then settle on secondary market. We're a crypto cup. We're an Argentinian base, so you'll be able to actually start betting and on the crypto market with no central agency.
All right, thank you. You guys also pitched me in Argentina, in Buenos Aires at the meetup. Good to see you again. All right, so are you guys still here? Let's all right, make noise for the project you like the most. We'll start with you. The World Cup soccer betting. Noise. Ooh.
It's called CryptoCup.io.
All right. The other, let's have you come up. What's your project again?
It's Project X.
Make some noise for Project X. Okay. Lots of hype for Project X. What's your project?
Uncloak.
Make some noise. All right. I think we have some massive FOMO now. All right.
Sovereign exchange.
All right. And
Mail hustle, own your own data, analyze your inbox.
all right.
Prosperity Global Exchange.
Make some noise. All right. I think the winner was this guy. What's his name?
Tayo Dada.
Tayo Dada. All right. Give us the full pitch. Here's your prize. Come on, give us the full pitch. All right. Let's sit down. Okay. Now time to grill him, guys. All right. First question. Do you have a... But guys, by the way, I'll use this as a way to educate what tokenomics is, right? So first thing I look for, right? Because who has time to read 40 white papers every day? Nobody. You have family, kids, you have life, work, right? But there are like 40 ICOs coming out every day. How do you filter through all that noise? Right? So I go through my system in a very efficient manner and going through the top things that the best ICOs have, right? So the way I use tokenomics, I go through and find the best ICOs based on ROI, based on return on investment, and find what was most important, right? The first thing I look for is prototype, because 90% of those ICOs had some kind of test net, mainnet, alpha, beta, whatever. It wasn't just an idea. It wasn't just a white paper ICO, something pie in the sky. They had something tangible, right? So that's the first thing I look for, right? If you go through 40 ICOs, you probably filter through them very quickly just by checking for prototype as the first factor, right? The second thing I look for is all-star team, because 60% of the best ICOs had an all-star team, right? This is the part that is very subjective, but I try to make this as objective as possible by having kind of like a system. And what I look for is minimum 2 years at a publicly traded company, right? For example, a Google, a Facebook, an Amazon, right? Or 6 months or more at a top 25 market cap blockchain project, right? So basically either they're business people who have expertise in that, or they have domain expertise, right? It doesn't really have to be a publicly traded company, but just something that's top tier in their field, right? For example, they could be in consulting, right? If somebody's worked at Bain or McKinsey, to me, that's an all-star. That's somebody who knows what they're doing, right? But anyway, right? Next thing I look for after that is all-star advisors, then tokenomics in terms of how much money they're raising. And I take all these individual data points and create a holistic grade on each ICO. And for me, I only invest in ICOs that score over 80% on my grade. I call these all-star ICOs, right? The top of the line, though, is Hall of Fame ICOs, right? Like Zebi. Who was part of the Zebi ICO? That's doing pretty well, right? To the moon. All right? Anyway, first question we look for, do you have a prototype?
Yes, we actually have a demo right now that's actually working and finding issues straight away.
All right, very nice. What kind of prototype is it? Can you tell us more
so
about
we
it?
have a demo at the moment which is currently written in C, and we're starting to port it to EOS. We're currently working with the likes of Brock Pierce and Dan Larimar of EOS. We've been invited to speak out in Hong Kong on meetups at the moment.
Very impressive. What's the project again?
It's called Uncloak.
Uncloak. Now you have my attention. All right. So tell us about your team. Who's on the team?
We've got an amazing team. So just to give you a big example, I started computers when I was 12 years of age. I broke into KPMG, started working for KPMG, starting up the first
KPMG for how long?
I was at KPMG for 7 months. I worked under a chap called Stuart Hinckley, and I started working for Grant Thornton, where I was in charge of the forensic accounting department, breaking into systems on behalf of Grant Thornton. And now obviously run Uncloak.
Prior to KPMG, where were you working?
KPMG, I was working on the ethical hacking division.
Before KPMG, what company?
Before KPMG, I was at a company called Global Switch Data Center. I was in charge of network services for 12 overseas data centers, so I have a very large data background. And before that, I was working for myself, kind of Synergy IT Solutions, which I created when I was young.
Okay, all right. I mean, I do like the KPMG, but it's only 7 months, though. I would like to. No offense, but I'm just kind of working with the crowd here. All right, and who else on the team? What's the...
So I've got people very varied from in my team. We've got cybersecurity experts from people that have worked at MOD.
All right, but let's kind of take it slow.
Sure.
All right, so how many employees are you?
There's 13 in our actual media team. We've got 13.
Okay, but how many management?
Management, we've got 6 in management.
Okay, so let's only look at the management, right?
Right, so
who's second up?
You've got Nicholas Topham in management. He helped basically bind and close startups, working with startups from $10 million up to $500 million, for example, for Global Switch, worked for BT.
What's his history? What employers has he worked with in the past?
So for BT Wholesale, he was responsible for BT Wholesale, BT Marketing, working in the UK. He's also an Arthur Anderson partner as well. So he's my basically CFO.
He was a partner
in the business.
His employer was a partner.
Absolutely. So that was Nicholas Topham. Also got.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off.
Sorry.
Wait, so when you say partner, they're kind of like a company that would partner with Arthur Anderson, or he was partner?
He was a senior partner in Arthur Anderson.
Okay, for
he
how
was
long?
Senior partner of Arthur Anderson. I think he was there for a good 12 years stint. So he's
All star. We should have a bell. All right, next person on the team.
So we've also got another chap called Phil Jackson. He heads up Capita Security, Cybersecurity. So he's been working interim with me as well in there. So
And
he's
his
CTO.
background,
He's
employers?
CTO. So ethical hackering, forensic accounting, forensic security. That's what he's been
More
covering.
like smaller companies.
Smaller companies. Barclays is probably the smallest company he's worked for. So
All right. For
yeah,
how long?
absolutely.
How long? Don't hide that.
Sorry, no, he's been 12 years now, 12, 13 years.
12 years
he's
at
been there.
Barclay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's an all-star, guys.
Okay.
All right, so I look for minimum 2 all-stars on a team. You've passed the prototype. You've passed 2 all-stars. Okay. Do you have any more all-stars?
Well, we've got obviously some very amazing advisors in there.
No, prior to advisors. Anybody
Right,
on the
so
core team?
we've also got also one of my chaps here as well. So we've got Steve Bardiel, who's obviously an amazing project manager, works for some very, very large firms, asset
you name
management
them?
firms. Could you name some of your firms, Steve, you've worked at? Credit Suisse.
Okay, for how long? Oh, wow. Wow. 3 all-stars. Oh, man. London with a hat trick. All right. So now let's go to the token metrics. How much money are you guys raising?
We're raising $21 million. Is that a hard cap?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of project are you guys? Are you guys a infrastructure project, building a protocol, or are you guys
We're a bit of
adapt?
both. We are looking to be literally the world's first cybersecurity application that actually deployed on the EOS platform. So we'll be the first application installed providing cybersecurity.
All
So
right,
it's a
so
combination
adapt
of
and
2.
EOS.
It's adapt and yeah, absolutely.
Okay, 21 million, 3 all-stars with a product.
Yes.
What's your business card? I think we may have found a possible candidate, guys. So now this is the part where now I'll go home and do my homework. All right? They've passed the ICO gauntlet.
Go ahead. Someone else is
He's not prepared. He wasn't expecting this.
this card.
But okay, here.
I'll take one of yours if it's okay.
I'll take your contact info. Yeah. Yeah, round of applause. So it's called Uncloak. How do you spell it?
Uncloak. So it's UNCLOAK. Yeah, K.io.
Uncloak.io. All right, we got a potential candidate, guys. All right, with that being said, next up is time for the AMA. Ask me anything. Where are we looking?
Right here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So, Ian, about a month ago, you said that LendingBlock was an all-star. Do you still stand by that? And
Yes,
also, where do you see the coin or the team going in 2018?
In 2018?
Yep.
I mean, I'm very bullish on it. That's why I was an investor. Right? It was an all-star team, great background, with a product, and a very low cap. Right? Good token metrics. Right? So right now, I'm long-term on that. What I'm not pleased with, though, is the exchanges they're on. I don't think HitBTC is the best exchange. All right? Yeah. All right, so I'm just holding until a better exchange. All right? So hopefully it pans out. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, hello, Ian.
Oh, they're over here. Oh, shout out to Steve of LendingBlock. Oh, the cap. Let's can you guys go grab the cap? Ugo or Diego will go grab it. But thank you. And I did already tell Steve, because I actually went to the offices today for the tour, all right? And I told him, great project, but I had some concerns about HPTC, all right? But I don't want to spoil the entrepreneurial process. All right, who's up next?
Yeah, hello, Ian.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah. Yes,
Hello,
yeah?
Ian. My question's about EdenChain.
Uh-huh.
Firstly, are you invested in the private sale or pre-sale? And what's your views of the project?
I mean, as I mentioned, right, I met him at a meetup just like this guy, right? I liked the project, but I wanted to see more because initially there wasn't really a tangible prototype. So I told them, okay, you know what? Come back to me when there's a prototype, right? And if it's good, I'll invest, right? So they're like, you know what? Let's still have the ICLs. I think first round sold out, right? But they came back to me last week. They showed me a test net, and I was really impressed, right? Because before I had them as an all-star, but not quite there yet because they're missing the prototype. Once they showed me something tangible, an actual demo of the product, then they became an all-star ICL. So I think it's a great project. I'm very bullish on it, and I do plan to invest.
Okay, great.
Does that answer your question?
It did. Thank you.
Did? Okay.
Hey, I had three quick questions. The first one was, you know, with the dot-com boom, it went to about 8 trillion. What do you reckon crypto is going to go to?
I mean, I'm not really a psychic, but if I had to speculate, obviously not financial advice, not for you, right? If I had to speculate in terms of where I think it's going to go for me, personally, I mean, the peak was around $900 billion cap. I think we're going to definitely go back there. I mean, I think if this space is really...
What about 40 trillion?
40 trillion?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, long term, it's just more about the time frame, right? So, I mean, if you go back, the market last year went from like 30 billion to like 800 billion, right? Then kind of came back down to like 200, 300 billion. So it was basically 10x, right? The way I look at it is, imagine the market just does a 5x every year, right? So that's basically my expectation on the market, right? That's kind of taking into account bull years and bear years, right? So in my opinion, I feel like if 5x every year is pretty decent for the market as a whole, right? Cool. So if it goes from, what, 250 to $1 trillion, then to 5 trillion, then to 25 trillion, then to 100 trillion, right? Those number of hops is how many years I think it will take to get there. But I'm just speculating.
Thank you. Two more quick ones.
Unfortunately, we have so many people.
One each. All right.
All right. Are they quick? Are they quick?
They are pretty quick. Do you think it's worth making a YouTube channel, or is that ship gone?
Is it worth making what?
A YouTube channel. Do you think it's too late?
A YouTube channel? No, yeah. I mean, if you bring value,
kind of support
you bring value, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as I mentioned, I'm a big fan of Gary Vee, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The market is the market.
Okay.
Right? The market will judge whether or not they think you're bringing value to them, right? So I would say just put out whatever content you want to put out, and people will tell you. If it sucks, nobody will watch it. Sure. If it's good, they'll watch it.
And the last one, sorry. You know your data sheet? Some of the best performing ICOs don't actually have the best scores. I don't know if you realized. Do you have any idea why that might be?
Which ones are you talking about?
I really can't remember, but I realized like the top ICOs actually went all stars. They got maybe 70%. Is there maybe some assumptions you maybe...
In terms of the historical ICOs or in terms of...
Yeah, on your... That's happened in the past.
Because I would say that's kind of just more of a market factor, because it's kind of hard to predict, because those are being used as the samples, right? So I think it's just more of lacking the sample size, right? But I think what I look for me personally is, right, do they have a prototype? Do they check the boxes, kind of like going down that list of things I look for, right? Because I'm not really looking for, can I predict them at that time, but is it working right now, if that makes sense?
Cool.
All right.
Thank you very much.
This way.
All right, I think it's probably... Okay.
I'll start.
Right.
Hi. Hi, Ian. I'm a big investor in Tezos.
Tezos?
Yes, you said something about... Oh, hang on.
Yeah, don't get me started on Tezos, man.
No.
Tezos better not be in this room.
Why no? Well, it took Ethereum a while to obviously to hit its peak. Tezos is not out yet. You said it's not.
Yeah, I mean, so
Nice.
Tezos is basically why, me personally,
Yeah.
I never put more than 10% into any ICO. All right, because he has some people, I have some friends who do this, who just, he's actually a poker player, so I guess that's why he likes to do this. He goes all in into some ICOs. But imagine if Tezos was a great ICO according to you, whatever system you use to grade ICOs, and you went all into that. Or you put a big part of your portfolio, a quarter, half your portfolio, and now they told us they'll launch the mainnet in 3 to 4 months. It's been almost a year, nothing is launched. We still don't have our tokens,
Yeah.
right? Because there's too much risk about doing that, right? So that's why I don't like to do that. I mean, even OneChain was a great investment. They told us it would launch, or would have tokens in a few months. Then the whole China regulation thing happened.
Yeah.
Then it took about 6 to 7 months for us to get tokens, right? So because there's so much risk, and you never know, ICOs will tell you what you want to hear when they're trying to take your money.
Yeah.
Once they have your money, they have your money, right? Right? They can just change the rules, right? So because of that, I only put in at most 10% into any project.
No, that's fine. So you're saying you're no longer bullish
Yeah, I mean,
on Tezos.
Tezos I'm bullish on, but at this point in time, doesn't matter what it does, the ROI won't really be worth the time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right? I mean, if it comes out, does a 10x in a year, is not really worth it to
Not
me.
great, yeah.
If I can do a 10x in 1 to 2 months, right? It's like the opportunity cost wasn't really worth it from the investor perspective, right?
Okay, my last question is, you said you've not invested in EdenChain. How are you going to invest then? The whitelist is closed.
What?
The whitelist for EdenChain is closed.
I mean,
so how are you going to invest?
I met the team at the meetup. I mean, hey, wait. I mean, I met EdenChain before anybody met EdenChain.
No, I understand.
I mean, it's kind of like this guy, right? Is the whitelist closed? Is the whitelist closed? All right, next question.
Here, what's up? Ciao. Hi, Ian. What's up?
All right.
Hey,
Hi.
I have a quick question regarding, like, the whole scalability, challenges and basically projects focusing on scalability and high throughput blockchains. So I wanted to ask you what you think of Zilliqa, for example, or Thunder Token, Solana, Quark Chain, those type of projects, and which one is your bet?
Okay, yeah, Zilliqa, that was an all-star ACL. It's doing well. I mean, I didn't personally invest. Different story. Initially, the token metrics were not good. Then they listened to investors and changed the token metrics, right? The lockup, like he was talking about with Tezos, was really long. Although it was a good project, the lockup was like 6 months until you got your tokens back. And I said, no way. Then they ended up changing the terms to like 1 or 2 months. And I was trying to go back in, but it was sold out. But Zilliqa is a great project. I'm very bullish on it. Actually, I'm more bullish on it in terms of the ICO, not on the price right now, but the ICO. I think I had it around, it's been fluctuating in the high 80s, like 88% and higher. So I think that's a really good project. Below that is Quark Chain, around 86%, right, based on my scoring system. And then,
Did you get into Quark Chain or not? Did you do Quark Chain?
Quark Chain, yes, yeah.
And the other one was a Thunder Token? And
Thunder Token.
And
Thunder
Solana.
Token, I like. The only thing is we don't really have all the full token metrics in the sense of what advisors are with the team, which one for me is a vital metric or data point. But just taking into account, assuming they will have all-star advisors, it's an all-star ICO. What I don't like about it, though, is it has a 12-month token lockup. Correct. Right, so it's really long, and it's sold out. Okay. I've been on the wait list for a while, but I don't think I'll invest, even if I do get in.
Awesome, thanks. The last one was Solana, but it's fine.
Solana, okay, so that one, the team, I am speaking with the team, but I know they're raising now, but they're not launching anything until next year, right? In like 2019, which is pretty long. So I'm probably going to pass on that. All right, we have somebody in the back. Okay, all right. Well.
Hey, Ian.
Hey.
Just had a quick question around what's your strategies when you're thinking about exiting? So like after you've invested in ICO, how do you figure out when's the right time to actually leave? And
How to sell my position?
Yeah.
Okay, so my system is when I invest in a particular project, I look to take out my initial investment at around the 3x, right? So if I put in $1,000 or 1,000 pounds, I should say, right? And it turns to 3,000 pounds. I look to take out those 1,000 pounds and keep the profit, right? 2,000 pounds. So now I'm basically playing with house money. That's free money. Then I take that 1,000 pounds and reinvest that into a brand new ICO. So people call me a flipper. I'm not really flipping ICOs. I'm just mitigating risk, right? As any smart investor should do, right? Because I don't want to lose money, right? Because if I take out my initial investment, it could just get wrecked. Worst case, I lost nothing, all right? So after 3x, I look to take out my money. And then from there, it kind of depends on your system, right? For me, it's kind of more on, I just let the house money ride, right? So if it goes from like a 3x to like a 12 or 15x, I'll take some more. But it kind of depends on, do I need the money now, right? So if there's a brand new ICO, right? Let's say this guy's ICO, Uncloak, right, is having the private sale or pre-sale, right? And this ICO that just did at 3x is now done at 12x, 15x. I'll come back and take maybe 10 to 20% off and put that into this ICO, right? If this goes to 25, 30, 40x, I'll keep taking money off, but I don't sell everything, right? So it kind of depends on when I need the money, if there's a good ICO. If there are no good ICOs, I'll just keep it there, right? But I know, okay, if there's a new ICO, let me take money from the profitable ICOs, right? Because it's always good to take profits, right? Because, I mean, even with Icon, which did 100x, right? It went from, ICO price was 12 cents. When it launched on exchanges, it was around $2 or so. It went all the way to $12. Then when the bear market came back to $2, right? So if you didn't take profits on the way, you were wrecked, right? So that's why I like to take profits on the way up. But the first one is initial investment. I always want to make sure I lock that.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Good question.
One more, just for friends.
Hey, and quick question. Do you believe that decentralized exchanges will take over centralized exchanges in terms of volume? If so, are there any big ones that you think are going to be the daddy?
Yeah, I mean, I think DEXs, decentralized exchanges, is a very good use case for crypto. One of the first ones that has to be solved. But the main issue, again, is volume, right? How liquid the tokens are.
Yeah.
In terms of all the ones out there that I'm most bullish on is Kyber Network, right? But, I mean, even I don't use it. What?
What about Nex?
And yeah, oh, that's an all-star as well. Nex is an all-star as well, but I feel like, will they actually have the volume, right? Because it's hard to compete with Binance, right? I mean, because people go where the volume is. So until they can really list tokens and there's the volumes, because they could list all the tokens in the world, but if the volume is $1,000 a day, nobody's going to use it. They'll go to Binance, right? So to me, it's more of it's kind of like a chicken and egg problem.
Cool.
Hi, Ian.
Hello.
How did you hear about Loom Network? And also
Loom Network. All right. Very good question. All right. I heard about Loom Network through my private network. A friend of mine said, "Hey, check out this project. It's doing Ethereum scaling, whatever." I was just busy on Telegram. Checked it out on there. Like, okay, interesting. Let me come back and look at this. I think like a day later, I came back, did my homework on it. And I was like, this is a really good project. Then I invested. Right. So it was through my private network, which I've kind of built from meeting people at events like this. Right. I would say your private network. This is a very well-known quote, right? Your network is your net worth. All right. That's why I'm willing to travel around the world globally to meet people globally, right? Because you could find a network that could make you millions in crypto or whatever, right? And I would say definitely meet people around the world, but stay in touch over Telegram. Everybody in crypto is on Telegram. If you're not on Telegram, you're losing money.
What do you think is in terms of the future of infrastructure? Where is it going towards? So what's actually going to be reality in terms of throughputs and high rate transactions and grades like that? So
what's the future of infrastructure projects?
Yeah, like there's a lot of fluff. So I just want to, like, credits was fluff. So I just want to know, like, what your thought is.
I mean, I think right now we're still at the blockchain level. We're still trying to get faster throughput in transactions. Right, Ethereum is trying to scale. Then the other projects seeing that as an opportunity to strike. Right, we have EOS, we have Zilliqa, ReadySetGo. I mean, that's where the value is, right? Not really in dApps, it's in infrastructure blockchains, smart contract blockchains. Then I think once we figure out the whole speed issue, then it's more about, okay, who can actually build dApps people want to use on this platform, right? I mean, Ethereum I mean, the best useful dApp they've built is really CryptoKitties, right? So they haven't really won yet. I mean, they made people lots of money, but they haven't really won yet in terms of utility, right? Somebody could come and build the next Facebook on EOS, or it could be on EdenChain or QuirkChain, right? So in terms of kind of, okay, can it scale? Then can it get adoption in terms of developers building apps the real world wants to use, right? Then getting mainstream adoption for people using those dApps, right? Who don't really care what the blockchain is underneath it, but actually want to use it.
True.
Right? Does that answer your question?
No, I think that helps.
Oh, by the way, guys, if anybody wants to submit ICOs to me to look at, whether it's your ICO or just an ICO you're interested in, just go to my contact page, ianbalina.com/contact. Then there's a link on there to a Google form to submit ICOs. Right, definitely do that. I do pay attention to it. It does take a while, maybe every few weeks, but that's how I ended up looking at LendingBlock, because lots of people were sending that in. All right, so if you have any ICOs to submit, send it that way. What? No, if it's good, I just review it. All right, so if it's good, you'll see it on my channel.
Sparks, I'd love to
that's
hear
the
review on
feedback,
that.
I guess.
But appreciate everything you do, man.
If you don't see it,
I appreciate everything you do. Love you, man.
I love you too.
Let's give it up for Ian Balina, man. Let's give it up.
Hey. Thank you, thank you. Let's get some people in the back to answer questions, to ask questions. Can we get some people in the back after them? Okay.
I'll speak now. Hello. I'd just like to say thank you for coming to London to speak, and I'm really inspired by your YouTube channel. I'll just maybe like one or two questions, quick questions. When do you believe, in your own opinion, will every other traditional security like shares, commodities will be tokenized?
Can you repeat that? When do I think securities will become tokenized?
Yeah. When? How long? How long would it?
I mean, right now there are some that are being done. Like I know Kairos and some other people that are trying to bring security tokens to the forefront. You have Polymath and T-Zeros. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not really bullish on that this year.
Yeah.
I think it's still very early. All right. I mean, I can't really tell you when. All right. But I feel like it's still very early before, because the main thing is having exchanges that can handle that, right?
Yeah.
So I know they aren't really there yet. So I mean, definitely not this year. Right? Maybe next year. I mean, I do have friends like that have a security token advisory firm, and this is what they're trying to kind of work on. But in my opinion, I mean, not this year. Does that help?
Yeah, it helps as well.
I mean, if not, let me know. But I mean, I can't really predict when I think it's going to take off. I mean, but what I did like about Kairos, though, right, is basically it was a very attractive deal, right? It was a 2-for-1 deal. You'd get both a security token and both a utility token, right? So it was good. But the issue, as most security tokens, was regulation.
Yeah.
That's why they had to cancel their ICO and refund people who were part of it, and now redo it, right? And to me, I didn't like how that whole thing was handled. In addition, there was some FUD that came out that was true, right? There was apparently, well, not apparently, but this was a fact. But the person in charge of their investor relations had been arrested for grand theft, right? So that was not comfort building. So with that, I was like, you know what, let me take that out and put it into this new hot ICO, like Uncloak, for example, possibly, maybe. All right?
Yeah. I got just one more quick one. How do you know when you're going to sell all of your tokens?
That's really when I lose faith in the project, right? Or I just think it's kind of maxed out, and there always has to be a much more attractive option, right? Right. I mean, so kind of going back to Icon, right? Because who knows about my story with Icon, all right? Yeah. I mean, so Icon was a good project, but we did have some issue which we ended up solving, right? But one of the reasons why I was thinking, okay, you know what? Icon doesn't want me to kind of talk about the project. Let me just sell all this, because Icon has had kind of peaked. It was around the 30x. That was still a lot. Right? Let me just take all of that and put it into Loom Network at 8 cents. That was the strategy, right? I didn't really quite fully execute on that, right? Ended up going into one chain, right? Because I was like, I already have a ton of Loom, right? But imagine if you kind of hopped from one ICO to the other, the potential was like, it's already a 30x. If it goes to a 90x, that's a 3x only. All right? But if Loom was still around the ICO price, and I had done my homework on Loom and OneChain, and I'm like, they're going to go on a run. Right? But good question.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Can we get some people in the back over there?
Could I quickly
Probably
get
feeling
one?
left out.
Could I ask one? Hi, Ian.
Hey.
Welcome to London.
Thank you.
I wanted to go back to the hacking situation a month ago.
Uh-huh.
And so apart from obviously storing credentials in Evernote, what was your biggest learning from the situation? And
What
how
I
have you
learned
kind of
is,
increased your security
I mean,
now?
people are watching me. I'm a target. Gotta improve my security. Right?
Could you share anything on that? How you've improved your security to us?
Yes, yeah. I mean, so the way I got hacked is, right? This is, I guess, one of the good use cases for blockchain, right? When you have a service provider, right, like a Dropbox, Adobe, even a Gmail, even Twitter, right? For example, recently, Twitter got not hacked, but there was a glitch or a bug that made their passwords available in plain text, right? So Twitter said, go and change your password. So if you have a Twitter account, change your password. Right, so something like that, or just some hackers hack a database, right? So for mine, I used sites like Dropbox, Bitly, Elance, whatever, right? If you go on a site like IHaveBeenPwned.com, put in an email address, right, it will show you what sites have been compromised. Right? So a site like that, right, got compromised. Hackers had the database, the passwords. They put it up online somewhere, or the dark web, or wherever, where anybody can just download that database and has access to accounts and the passwords. Right? So people were able to not hack my Gmail. I had two-factor authentication on, right? But through my recovery email, right? So they just do forgot email or forgot password, right? It takes out two-factor authentication. It sends it to your recovery email, which Google tries to obscure, but it's still pretty readable, right? So somebody just has to be somewhat smart to figure out what email that was. And my recovery email was where I messed up. I had my college email, right, for university, and their college email system didn't have two-factor authentication on, right? And that email account had a password. This was back in college that I didn't think I would get this famous back then, right? I had a password that I was using on multiple sites. I was basically using about the same 5 passwords on multiple sites. Right? So one of those sites that got compromised, let's say Dropbox, whatever, who knows, right? They could just get the password from there and that email and say, okay, let me try out this password and see if it works. And it worked, right? So once they hacked my recovery email, they could then reset my Gmail and log in. And once they have Gmail, they basically have access to reset everything in your life. Right? So what I've learned is never use the same password for any service ever. Right? Have a password manager. There's so many out there. One password, LastPass, whatever. Right? Use hardware wallets for sure. Right? Because for me, I was using paper wallets, but I travel around the world and I'm busy. And I made a mistake of storing my private keys, copies of them, in my Evernote. I thought I was being smart by encrypting them, right? But the password I used to encrypt them was one of those passwords you could just find online on those hacked services, right? So never use the same password for anything in life, right? That's probably the biggest thing I learned. Just securing everything now, right? And also just kind of tracking down hackers, right? Because working with the FBI and kind of seeing how investigators go through, and you can actually follow everything on the blockchain, right? And they do leave breadcrumbs, right? To a point where I can say that, I mean, because being able to have a global network of people, right? We've been able to work with lots of different exchanges, and they've been cooperating to a point we've recovered a good portion of the funds. Not all of them, obviously, right? But for example, anything that's been sent to some exchanges, right? We've been able to contact them in advance and have them freeze the assets, right? So that's kind of what I've learned. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right, cheers. Thank you.
All right, I'm right back at the back here. First,
hey.
I'd like to say thanks very much for a wonderful evening, Ian.
Thank you.
So some of the people I've been talking to have said there's a trend emerging where projects are kind of raising money through private sales now, rather than the risks and headaches associated with ICOs. I was just wondering if you had any kind of opinions about what that means for people like you and also like us out here in the audience. And also, as a silly question, there's the Ian Balina effect, but I'd like to know if you have any opinion on the John McAfee effect.
All right. Let's first start with John McAfee effect. I mean, I've seen he has an effect. Me personally, I don't believe in what he recommends, right? From my system of analysis, I wouldn't personally invest in those, right? I do know that you basically pay him to tweet an ICO, and he will do that, which isn't really something I believe in, right? Then back to your question. So you're saying private sales are selling out, and basically can you make money with them selling out if you're not able to get in? Was that the question? Just want to make sure I get it right.
No, basically I was just asking, like, how does that affect, from your position, talking about ICOs that people can invest in, and from our positions, presumably most of the people in the audience here don't have the connections or the resources to invest in private sales. Right. So how does that affect the little fish like us, and also someone like you who talks about investing in ICOs for us?
Yeah, I mean, so I still like, so if an ICO is fully sold out and most people, and there is no public sale, for the most part I don't like to talk about it, but I feel like there are some projects that sell out, but I think they're still very undervalued, and because I think having a post-ICO strategy is still really good. I think best example, which I talked about recently, is Loom Network. They had a private sale only. I mean, I was part of that private sale, but when it came out, it was still around ICO price because it came out in a bear market, right? And there are lots of people who were not part of the ICO or crowd sale that were able to even get it cheaper on exchanges on some particular days, right? And now it's gone on a tear, right? So I don't think you can only have a pre-sale or private sale only approach. I think it kind of pays to have both, right? Especially in a bear market, right? Because there are lots of projects that will come out and they're either around ICO price or even lower, right? So I think it's still possible to kind of have both. I would say if it does sell out, it kind of depends on the project. Sometimes it does create additional FOMO, sometimes it does not. Right? It doesn't always correlate to post-ICO. Does that answer your question? All right.
Ian, a quick one here.
All right. Last one. We're running out of time. We got to be out here by 9.
What do you think about IOTA and the whole Tango thing?
IOTA, I mean, I haven't really looked much into IOTA, to be honest. I mean, as an investor, I already missed that boat, right? So I've been trying to find the next IOTA, right? So I can't really say much. I do know they had that FUD around the partnership news with Microsoft and other stuff, right? So, I mean, it's not a product I'm really bullish on right now, just kind of based on ROI and things like that. All right, guys, unfortunately, that's it for questions. If you have any further questions, all right. So, once again, London, thank you so much for the support. It's been a pleasure being here. All right, looking forward to being here in London town. With that being said, let's take a group picture. All right, let's have Dan. Or I can even do a selfie here. All right, hold on the count of 3. London, thank you so much. Woo! To the moon. I'll see you all on the moon.